Can we just talk him?
Because we are uncool.
I don't believe in guilty pleasure.
A choice right now between fear and love.
But we're rounding it all up. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is the thing we saw most recently, and that's Mission Impossible 5, is it now?
Yeah.
Wow. The fact that they're actually still coming out with that many, and actually they're still getting actually better, I think, every time. They're doing a really good job. And we all know Tom Cruise is crazy because he does his own stunts, and he's like, what, almost 60 now? He's crazy. So this one was great. If I know some people that were diehard fans of the series that did not like the first one because it wasn't really about the team. Well, they've been fixing that over the course of the last 5 movies. They really have been pumping up the team aspect of it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it a lot better than I thought it would be. I never watched the third one because I was kind of disappointed with the second movie. I don't know why. I just remember watching it and not being doing it.
J.J.
But yeah, the fourth movie though, I did watch that one. I liked that. And then this one, I thought it just kind of took it even further with like the crazy stunts and the intrigue and everything about it was just a lot of fun. Too. Yeah, Simon Pegg was great.
You gotta just let that guy go because he's so funny.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I love the female lead, the kind of femme fatale kind of character. You weren't really sure what she was doing or what she was up to. So I love that part of it too. But yeah,
you gotta love Ving Rhames too. He's always fun when they bring him back. So yeah, that was a really good. We really enjoyed that a lot.
Have you seen this?
Okay, so there's been a lot of things that people say I should watch, and it's funny because I was listening to the Nerdist the other day, and the one thing that he has yet to see that he's supposed to watch, which if you're supposed to, it means it came out on HBO apparently as a series. The one thing he hadn't watched yet was The Wire, and I watched the first episode a long time ago. I watched my stuff on HBO Go, and it makes it real convenient to get caught up on stuff. And so I watched another one a lot, and for some reason I wasn't in the right headspace to enjoy it. So I'm like, I gotta give it another shot, and I enjoy it. I've only literally seen the first 2 episodes. I'll be writing a full write-up on it when I finish it. I really enjoy it. I don't even like the main actor. I can't remember his name. He was in 28 Days. He played her love interest that was still drinking.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Kind of.
He's in The Affair, another new show.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. If you guys know his name, that's fine. You know what I'm talking about. But it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of character to it. It's not really bleak like a lot of HBO series can be. It's got a good sense of humor to it. It's funny because they always complain about all the paperwork they have to do as police officers, which is funny. And if you're a big fan of The Walking Dead, you're going to recognize a lot of actors from this show because when The Wire went off the air, Walking Dead took a lot of the people from the show. Bob is on there.
Is the show by Frank Darabont?
No, it's David Simon, who also did Treme. It's the one about New Orleans, which I have already seen all of that. I've written a review of it for that, so if you want to check that out on the site. There was another actor, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, they're getting actors from The Wire as much as they can because they love the show so much. So it's definitely worth checking out. I know HBO Go obviously has it, and I believe Amazon Instant. If you have a chance to get Amazon Prime and Instant, there's a lot of good stuff on there. They have a lot of original programming. There's something really big they just got recently on there. I can't remember. I'm blanking. But, yeah, well, I'm all hopped up on sourdough bread right now, so my memory is kind of fading. Chris is going to talk about Inside Out. I haven't seen it yet, but he's seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw it, I was definitely telling everyone about it to go check it out. I liked it a lot. I thought it was one of the best Pixar movies the last few years. Though the last few years, the movies they've been putting out is like Cars 2 and such, and those haven't been really that great. So, but yeah, I like this one a lot. It was really great, creative. The animation was really, really good. And the story was great too. I mean, trying to make this whole the whole concept of like all the different feelings and stuff inside of you, how to make that work and tell the story was a lot better than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, it was actually a tall order because when I first saw the trailer for it, I'm the kind of nerd that remembers a failed television show called Herman's Head that I believe had the id, the ego, and the superego as characters inside his head. So I thought that's interesting for them to take something that's been done and failed and try to make it work. So apparently they did. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it worked really well.
The casting seems really good. I mean,
it was perfect.
You cast Louis Black as Anger, of course, and it's funny that it's kind of a mishmash of The Office and Parks and Rec as well. So
yeah.
So, okay, so I've been trying to go through a lot of older movies, older Hollywood stuff. If you've heard me on here before, you know that I like classic Hollywood movies and stuff like that. I know Chris likes them as well. Mm-hmm. And I grew up watching a lot of old comedy stuff. I really liked Danny Kaye growing up, really liked Bob Hope, Jerry Lewis. And I watched a Bob Hope movie I hadn't seen, even known about. And it's called The Louisiana Purchase. And it is the most random set of like ingredients put together in this movie. Basically, there's some not embezzling, but like there's a college board of trustees that has, I guess embezzled is a good term. They've taken some money through some dummy corporations or whatever, and they're trying to get away with it, but they're going to get in trouble for it, so they want to pin it on somebody, and they decide they want to pin it on a senator. So they get Bob Hope, who is caught up in this scandal as a businessman, to help them get this senator to ignore basically what they've done. And they want to bribe a senator who's, he's unimpeachable. He's untouchable, I guess is what you call it. And it's really random. So they get this guy who basically doesn't drink. He doesn't take any bribes. And so they get this Viennese actress, she plays a countess, I guess, in the movie, to basically seduce him and convince him to go this way. It doesn't make any sense. I'm definitely not advising this. I just wanted to talk about it because it just was so random. For a movie to come out at that time, it was like, they literally goes and say, well, we've got these handful of actors, we've got this pretty Viennese actress, let's throw her in there, add her to the mix, and it was just weird. So I just thought it was funny. I didn't feel enough about it to actually write anything about it, but I just thought it was kind of a funny, weird note to talk about because it's just random. So the next thing I want to talk about is I do want to talk about other things, including books on the show. I read a lot of comics, and the most recent comic book that I finished, it was a collection of stories. It's Batman and Robin Year One. It's written by Chuck Dixon and Scott Beatty, and the illustrator, the artist is Marcos Martin. It's a gorgeous book. The art in this is just so good. I mean, it says a lot to me when I make like my wallpaper on my tablet or my phone. The art I have to take the art from it because it's just so good. It's obviously the origin stories of Robin and Batgirl. It starts with Robin, it goes into Batgirl. Just really well written, really sharply written, just fun stuff. No, it's not really dark. It's Dick Grayson's Robin, and it's Barbara Gordon. And the fun one is with Barbara Gordon is that she's got like kind of a chip on her shoulder because she's the Gordon's daughter, and she basically puts the costume on to kind of like to tick off her dad, basically. And so it's just kind of this funny, like, human story where she kind of does that and then gets roped into actually crime fighting. So it's really good. It's really well written. The characters are really, really well developed, and it's just a lot of fun. So I highly, highly recommend it. You can buy it in graphic novel form. It's all collected in one thing. So definitely highly recommend it. If you just want simple, fun, bad stories, if you love that universe, this is really good for you. And you're going to be staggered by the art. Usually, if you're a comic book fan, you know this, but if you're not, a lot of times they'll get a different artist to do the cover, and then the art inside. So a lot of times, the cover art's amazing, and then you open up the book and it's like, what happened? Why isn't it the same? And this is a case where the same artist did the cover as did the inside, so everything's great. So definitely highly recommend that. And so this time of year, last month especially, is Comic-Con. And I've had the chance twice, 2 years in a row, to go to Comic-Con when I lived in that area. And I love it to death. It makes me think of home and just the passion of everybody and stuff they're into. And when you walk around the con, you just kind of like, if you're a nerd, you just kind of start breathing sighs of relief that you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to feel awkward about the stuff you're into. Everybody's there, and there's probably people there that will go further than you. And so certainly, because I'm not a cosplayer, so I give props to the people that actually cosplay. So I just want to do a roundup of what I saw this year at Comic-Con. What I do, and I've always done, even when I lived out there, is I watch the panels on YouTube. I highly recommend it. They're still there, obviously. They'll be there for forever. But Flicks in the City is a really good channel on there to watch the panels with. And so I watched all the panels. I saw Walking Dead and just a bunch of different ones. Even Joss Whedon did a solo panel. Some really good, funny stuff on there. Good way to see your favorite actors in a funny light where they kind of make fun of each other. And so, good stuff. And so I watched all of that. I'm trying to think of any highlights that I saw. One of the best ones was at the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. This little girl walks up to the mic and she says, "Do you have room for an 8-year-old on your show?" Which I thought was like totally adorable. The great thing to look out for too is if you're into Dub Smash, even if you're not into Dub Smash, you could find this video online. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was in an epic Dub Smash battle with Agent Carter, and they have all the videos collected. So if you just Google that, it's hysterical, the stuff they did, because they're just really, really funny people. The other thing I look for, I just kind of watch through all the panels I want to see that I'm interested in, and the last thing I do is I go to Nerd HQ, which Zach Levi, if you know him, he's from Chuck. He also plays the second Fandral in the Thor movies. He does a panels for charity for Operation Smile, and they're basically more intimate panels because Hall H in San Diego holds like 6,500 people, and his theater, the last one he did, I think, was more like 200. So, and people will pay to get in, so all the proceeds go to Operation Smile. They'll do auctions during the panels and stuff. So basically, the mainstays of that panel are Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk, and he has just about everybody you can think of. He even has mystery panels. They're really good to watch. If you just go to Nerd HQ on YouTube, that'll be great. It's so much fun. They're always kind of loose and funny in the big panels, but they don't have a whole lot of time. When they get to the Nerd HQ panels, it's just even more informal and fun. And the biggest highlight that I saw over the whole con was, if you're a Firefly fan, Serenity fan, Alan Tudyk, who, if you don't know his actual name, he's Wash from Firefly. He's doing a web series called Con Man. It's not even loosely, it's basically based on him, where he's an actor who was in a failed series, and now he goes to from Comic-Con to Comic-Con to Comic-Con, meeting the fans, and he's kind of at odds with the fact that he did this great show, it got canceled, and now he has to spend time going to these cons, meeting these people that loved what he did, and he kind of sees it as a curse, so that's where the comedy comes in. But it's got the Will Wheaton, Nathan Fillion's in it, Felicia Day, the lady that was the Cylon for Battlestar Galactica. I'm blanking on her name, but anyway, she's in it as well. It's going to be epic. It starts in September, I believe, 30th. Double check that. It's going to be on Vimeo, and it looks hysterical. It looks like something really great. I think you can watch it without watching Firefly and appreciate it, but definitely check it out. I think it's going to be worth talking about. I'll do a full review when I see the series. So that's pretty much it. That was my Comic-Con roundup. Definitely check out any of those videos online. You're not going to see videos or interviews like this when you see them on Fallon or Kimmel or anything. This is just them having fun. Chris Hardwick, if you know him from Talking Dead or At Midnight, he is the host of a lot of these panels, the moderator. So he knows what to ask. He knows how to handle them. So they're definitely worth looking into. Do you have anything else to talk about?
No, I haven't had a chance to see much or read much or do much.
Is there anything you're looking forward to?
I would love to see the abomination that is Fantastic Four.
Oh yes, we will have a review on that soon on the site. A friend of mine.
See how bad this really is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be abysmal.
But yeah.
If I had the movie pass like Chris did, I would actually do that too. But I actually have to pay for my movies individually right now, so that's coming soon for me. But.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, that will be it for this week of Empower the Audience. Check us out on our site. Like I said, right now, just Google Empower the Audience and it'll come up. And we'll be having more site updates as we go along. We'll even get Chris to actually start writing too, potentially. And it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be expanding and expounding as we go. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a great night. Bye.
See ya.
So, this is Corey, and I'm kind of having a late night session here. Needed to fill in some time on this episode. So, I'm just starting out this podcast adventure type thing, and I'm still working out ideas. I have plenty of ideas for the future, but that also means that the numbers, the level of listeners, is going to have to be in a bigger situation. So that would be dependent on you folks that are listening. Please tell all your friends and your family that are interested in the types of stuff we're talking about. Please let them know. That'd be great, so we can make this thing bigger and we can do some of the things we want to do. We might even break off these episodes into different types. We might have a music show. We might have a separate TV show and all that kind of stuff. My wife, also known as Zany Laney on YouTube, is a big TV person, does a lot of TV stuff, so she could have her own TV show as well. So we'll see what happens in the future, but just looking forward to that time when we can actually do those kinds of things. Been watching some YouTube lately. I probably have a segment, or at least a talk every once in a while if I find a really good YouTube video. Now, I'm not your typical YouTube person. I don't really care about cats playing piano or any kind of cat videos. My wife shows them to me, but I tend to look for music stuff, particularly live music stuff. One of my favorite videos for a while, look it up. If you like blues, check out. It's Johnny Lang, Tommy Sims, Phil Keaggy doing When Love Comes to Town in Nashville, and it's ridiculous. Johnny Lang is an incredibly talented blues singer and guitarist. He still looks 12 in this video. Phil Keaggy, if you don't know, is one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Always on the top of the greatest acoustic guitarist list. Tommy Sims is a big-time producer in Nashville, and that's where this is recorded, in Nashville. So definitely check it out. It's worth seeing a lot. So I'm just kind of rapping with you guys to just get my thoughts out there. I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying a lot of reading comic books lately. I've just started reading a book that I've known about for a while called Fear Agent. It's a good sci-fi, fun story. Rick Remender's a kind of crazy guy. If you ever played the video game Bulletstorm, that's the same writer that did this. So a lot of fun stuff. On the trailer front, really looking forward to Deadpool, based on the trailer and based on the stuff I saw at Comic-Con on YouTube. I wasn't actually in San Diego. But yeah, it looks like talk about nailing a character and having the freedom to do it. It's pretty impressive. If you don't know anything about how this movie really got permission to do what it did, there was what's called an animatic. It's a pre-visualization thing they do for stunt sequences or any kind of sequences on a big movie. That one of their animatics leaked and on the internet, and the people went nuts. They loved it. They said if the movie looked like this, which is very unfinished, we would still go see it. And that gave the production the right to say they want an R-rated comic movie. Let's make an R-rated comic movie. So definitely looking forward to that, seeing that. The next big thing we're going to see is probably The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I'm looking forward to next month I'll be getting what's called a movie pass, and hopefully I can maybe pull these guys in as a sponsor. It's a subscription service to watch movies at different theaters. You pay a monthly fee, and you can go see a movie every 24 hours, basically. Every day, as long as there's 24 hours in between the show times. So definitely check that out. I believe it's called Movie Pass. I can put I'll talk a little bit more about it on a later show so we can get more details for you, because Chris, the movie guy, he has one, and I'm looking forward to it, especially for this show, so I can get more than just the big blockbusters to talk about to you guys, and just looking forward to that. It'll be fun because I'm a fan of all kinds of movies. If you haven't gone to the site yet, I review everything from Seventh Heaven to Breaking Bad. So that's pretty extreme. I'm into just all types of movies. As I kind of got deeper into movies and stuff were more artistic, I didn't abandon a lot of the stuff I grew up watching. So still a big fan. Still a Disney fan, still a fan of even some family movies. So, so there's a lot of stuff. We're going to be expanding the site. Eventually, we're going to actually have a different location for our site. We're going to do Squarespace. Maybe they can be a sponsor in the future. We need to get the numbers to the point where we can get sponsors, and then we can have even a better show for you guys. So, definitely look forward to that, but Squarespace is definitely looking like it's going to be a lot of fun to put together, because I am not a technologically savvy guy in a certain sense. I can't code to save my life, but what they have is a really easy, user-friendly approach to making a site, so I'm looking forward to that. And I've got a lot of posts in the works. I'm actually porting a lot of stuff from my old site, which kind of crashed. So there's going to be a lot of stuff on there. One of the things I like to talk about is Geek Essentials, which is, there's a lot of people, I think, now that the superhero domination has happened, they're looking for maybe some older nerdy type stuff that they didn't know about way back when, that only the select chosen few like us knew about. So there's a whole list of stuff. I give little blurbs on everything from Doctor Who, Firefly, just a lot of good stuff like Walking Dead, and so that I'm looking forward to. I have not posted it yet, but we'll be posting it, so keep an eye out for that stuff. It's a really good thing. Like I said, if you know somebody like let's say your mom or your dad or somebody you know who doesn't normally watch this stuff, starts watching Walking Dead and loving it, not really ever cracking open a comic book, that's what this is designed for. My big thing about this show is also, I don't know if I talked about it in a previous episode, it's a discussion show. It's not really a review show. I don't really like the kind of simplistic thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing. Especially I don't like the hate, a lot of the hate that goes on the internet of not giving things a chance or not even reviewing things in context. That happens so much. Even in the professional journalism, I've seen a lot of things where they won't grade the movie on the type of movie it is. Like, was it a good comedy, or just was it a general good movie? They just kind of like have their own like absurd methodology of reviewing. I'm not a big fan. Like, I read Entertainment Weekly. I'll call them out. I don't care. I've actually on Twitter called out a guy that writes for them, and I've never been a fan of the way they write reviews. I've never been a fan of how that's whole set up editorially. I read the magazine mainly to get it's a good delivery system for short bursts of information. It's a good way to find out just generally what's going on in the entertainment industry, but it has its weaknesses as well. So I'm just trying to be, basically, the passion is what I'm trying to have motivate the show. So what are we into? If there's stuff that disappoints us, absolutely, we're going to talk realistically about that. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. It's not that, but it's like, I'm not going to search out stuff to hate. I'm not a person that can even really enjoy a bad movie. I know there's a lot of people that like that whole train wreck aspect, and I don't mean Amy Schumer. I just mean that kind of like, watch a bad movie to make fun of it. It has, I mean, the Mystery Science 3000 of it all is fun, but it's just not my thing. And so my thing has always been, ever since I've written reviews in college, I actually got criticism from my editor for just talking about stuff I liked and not. He actually assigned me to review something that was outside of my scope, just to see if I could give it a bad review or an honest review. And I it's not that I don't give honest reviews. It's just I like to share stuff with people. That's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things to do is find something that nobody's seen, or not nobody, but like, say, one of my friends, find a movie that they haven't seen that I know that they're going to love, and just show it to them, and I'll pretty much spend the whole movie honestly watching their face to see how they react. It does get a little creepy from time to time. I try to keep it on the DL as much as possible, but yeah, I just that's my favorite thing. So that's what motivates everything I'm doing here, is just saying, hey, this is really cool, this is what I like. You're going to be seeing a lot more diversity in our reviews. This is the summer, I kind of launched this, pretty much during one of the biggest years of cinema for popcorn, big giant movies. But I do want there to be a lot of diversity in what I do, specifically older movies, classic Hollywood movies. That's a big passion of mine. I grew up watching these older movies. I love them to death, and we talked a little bit on this earlier on this episode about a Bob Hope movie, but I will be posting a lot of those reviews. I'm getting a bunch of those lately. Some great stuff with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. Just some great old stuff. I really encourage anyone, certainly younger than I am, to go back and find those kind of movies. Now, I don't even have the stomach for a lot of the dramas from back then, especially a lot of the romantic dramas, because I get it. There's a certain stuff that people could tolerate back then, maybe more now. And if you're into melodrama, then that's your bag. It's hard for me to watch that kind of stuff. But the comedies, man, some of those comedies are as sharp as anything anyone's making nowadays. In fact, they're sharper than a lot of what comes out, because a lot of what comes out of just kind of appeals to a certain just stupidity, which, you know, it can work from time to time if it's got a little bit of layers going on with it. But there is some of the smartest writing that happened back in the 30s and 40s and 50s. It's too good. You know, we talked about Sound of Music. I think I'm going to have to write up Singing in the Rain, which there couldn't be a more, if you're from the outside looking in, you see this Singing in the Rain, you see the song Good Morning, and you just go, man, that has to be the cheesiest, corniest movie ever made. But there's so much that's commentary on Hollywood in that movie. There's biting satire. It's all about when the talkies came in. And so there's so much that just there. It's great. It's I can't call it dark comedy, but it's definitely sarcastic, sardonic comedy for sure. It's so much fun that's a big part of it. Me watching it is Donald O'Connor and some of the stuff in there. And again, I'll do a full review later. But just to give you guys a heads up, this is kind of just a little behind the scenes talk of where we're coming from, where we want to go. Ultimately, I want to do things like viewing parties where we online, like on a Google Hangout, we'll watch something like The Godfather, and we could just be talking during it in chat, and just stuff like that. That's the kind of ideas, and I'm open to anybody's ideas. When we get going and we start hearing back from you guys, I'm looking forward to that too, because I don't call it Empower the Audience for nothing. It's about you guys. I plan to hopefully find writers from the audience. I know other podcasts that have done that. They hired talent for the show from guys that just used to write reviews on their site. So I'm hoping to eventually have the site open to where have space where you guys can write review. Technically, reviews or just discuss the movies that you guys are into too. So that's definitely a thing in the future. If you're listening to this and you like to write and you just are super passionate about whatever you're watching or listening to, for sure we're interested in seeing your work and potentially putting it up. So that's basically what I've been wanting to talk to you guys about. I kind of haven't really done a whole lot of talking straight to you guys other than just talking about the movies. This is gonna be a process, figuring out the format of this show, whether it even needs a format. But yeah, I just realized more and more that we kind of just turn the mics on and talk about what we're talking about, but there's not a whole lot of direct contact with you guys, and I want there to be more of that. I'm still learning the whole promotional aspect of this with the social media. It's not a muscle that I have well developed, so forgive me for not. I really try to at the very least post when I do a new episode, but like I said, do forgive me for, and I'll work at, my wife's gonna have to train me. She's the master of this stuff. You have no idea. If you guys look up Zany Laney, you're gonna see so much of her stuff all over the internet, because she is awesome. I do one show a week. She does 6 in one day. So she's hardcore, and if you're into the kind of stuff she's doing basically makeup and beauty from a geek's perspective, doing a great episodes called Makeup in a Movie, where she'll pick a movie that she's seen, take colors inspired by that, and do like fully make herself up as movie guy Chris is talking about the movie. So those are great. Definitely check her stuff out, and or if you're a guy that's listening to my show and your girl likes makeup and would like to watch those things, absolutely look her up, Zany Laney on YouTube. That's ZAINEYLANEY on YouTube. We're going to be having more stuff from the other guys. Vince, I know you've heard him on here. You might have seen him on Zany Laney if you watch it. He's going to be having a great Let's Play type setup. He's still working on that, but that's going to be pretty epic. He showed me some of those. Those are really good. We're going to get Chris even more involved with us on this. I'm going to get him to start writing as well. I'm going to be pulling in some new people as well. Check out Marshall. Look up The One True Hazard. Spelled just like it's all one word, The One True Hazard. He does t-shirts online. He's got some great nerdy mashup t-shirts. Definitely worth looking into. So that'll be all for right now. We'll probably have another talk like this later. But thanks for listening. And and another thing. I don't have a sign-off phrase. Saying empower the audience just doesn't sound right. So if you guys are listening and have any suggestions, I know Nerdist has its Enjoy Your Burrito, and Mark Maron has Are We Good to his interviewees. But another twit is in the can, is what Uncle Leo Laporte on Twit has. But yeah, if you guys think of, I'll try to think of an idea, and maybe I'll post this on Facebook or whatever to see if you guys have any ideas. So just be thinking of ideas. I'm probably going to start adding some outro music as well. But yeah, if you have any ideas for what my sign-off phrase should be, that would be great. Until next time, until we meet again. Bye.